Hello again, I'm Roger Kanda. I'm here with Matt Airsworth, and we are continuing the series on simultaneous and interpreting. And in today, Matt's gonna answer the question, what do you do when you get stuck?
Thank you, Roger. What does an interpreter do when he gets stuck? Let's talk about what cases you might get stuck doing, and what you do in those sad situations. First off, there is a rule that it's actually said is the negative part of a joke. Don't leave it out. The joke is, when in doubt, leave it out. Well, we never leave anything out. If a speaker has spoken it, we want to convey it to the audience. But the important part is not necessarily to get all the words, but to get the idea across. So once I was in an international conference, and the speaker in English started speaking. He was talking about an organization and how all the parts work together. But he used farm equipment. He used a piece of farm equipment that I wasn't personally familiar with. He started talking about the cutter bar, the conveyor belts, the carriage, the hopper, and at that point I had to decide if I was going to invent words for every one of those pieces that I was not personally experienced with, or if I was going to do what I actually did, and that was to say, ladies and gentlemen, the interpreter's note. The speaker is now speaking about a piece of farm equipment that I'm not personally familiar with. But what he is doing is talking about how the various parts of the machine are organized to form a single effort, which is to harvest grain. When I can, I will return to the narrative. And that handled when I didn't know the subject matter. Now, I've talked in an earlier video about how that's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to try to get the subject matter and become familiar with it in advance. But not all conferences allow you to do that. The next one is when you can't hear. It can be because the speaker is speaking poorly, is away from the microphone, but you just can't hear. And if you can't hear, you can't interpret, and you can't say, hello there, I'm your interpreter and I can't hear you. Please stop and speak louder. You can't do it. You just can't. There are times when you can't. So you say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm unable to hear the speaker at this time. When I'm able to clearly understand the speaker again, I will begin again to interpret. I'm sorry for this lapse. And then you just wait until you can understand again. Then there's one more time when I got stuck. And it wasn't my fault. Never is. And this was when the speaker was unsure of what to say. This was a very elderly man. He was more than 90 years old. And he said, well, then there's, what was I thinking of? The interpreter can say, bien, est-ce que, that's not good. Anybody watching can see that he's having a hard time. But you can say, ladies and gentlemen, the speaker is finding his thoughts. When he begins to speak, I will return to the narrative. That's it. That'll get you out of it. The interpreter is doing his best to tell the people what is being spoken, but if you can't hear it, can't understand it, don't understand it, that's the best you can do, is to explain yourself. This is your interpreter. I'm having a problem. This is the best I can do. They'll love it. That answer it?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you very much.